Hey everybody, I did my first Appy Hour faux pas and totally forgot to record this Appy Hour. So I am making a recording now for anyone who wants to go back and watch it to get the information. So make sure if you do that, if you're going back and watching the Appy Hour, you'll want to sign in at this link right here, this bit.ly/WC sign in. You'll want to select the half-day event. You only get an hour of credit, but you'll just select half-day. And the title of the meeting is right here in quotes, Appy Hour Storify. So that's what you want to call it. The link to this presentation is right here, bit.ly/Appy Hour Storify if you want this presentation. And then you can also access this presentation and a lot of other resources in our Schoology group. So you want to make sure that you go to the groups drop down at the top, not courses, hit join, and then you'll enter this code. And if you are from a school where you do not have a Schoology account, you can email me at Ritter, RITTER_K @my.westclair.org, and I will create one for you so you can join the Appy Hour group. So very quickly, I want to walk you through what that Appy Hour group looks like, just since we're starting a new year, and I know we've got a lot of new people from other schools who are going to start joining us live with Hangouts on Air. So again, like I said, you'll come to the groups drop down at the top, select the teacher group Appy Hours once you're enrolled. And then right here on this page, I will post polls to get your feedback about what you would like to see. And then over here on the left are where I put the resources each week that we talk about. So like here's Storify, here's all of the resources for Storify. So what is Storify? Storify is a content curation tool. And it lets you curate what's on the web into a single story. So the image over on the right-hand side is a picture of a story that someone has created on Storify. You can add articles, blog posts, social media posts, videos, and more into a single story. So I think kind of the best way to understand that is to look at a couple of examples. So I made a Storify from the conference last Friday, and I searched everyone on Twitter using the hashtag WCLearns, and I was able to add every single tweet to the story here in one click. It was super simple. It probably took me, it definitely took me less than 5 minutes to create this entire story, and it probably only took me about 30 seconds to add over 200 tweets to this story. I added this text right here, the access presenter resources, a little information, see what teachers were saying. I was able to add all of that text. And this link right here is actually a link out to the curriculum portal. The preview is showing up a little funny since the curriculum portal is password protected. But here it actually links me directly to all of the presenters' resources from Friday's conference. So I was able to add that right into the Storify for you to access. So that's one example. Let's see, another example I had on here. Where are they? Sorry about this. This is an example created by the USDA, and it's about nutrition standards. So they added a lot of text throughout their story. Here's a video that we could play and watch right inside of the Storify. More text, a link to another article. Here is a tweet that was included. And here we can keep going. And here are links to other websites. So I could click and go directly to that website that I wanted my students to go to. So that's another example. You can really do all kinds of things with these. You can pretty much anything that has a URL on the internet, you can add to your story. So all kinds of things that you can do here. So to create an account, You're going to want to go to Storify.com. Let me log out so you can see. And you're going to want to click sign up free. And you can I wouldn't recommend, since you're going to be using it at school, to connect it with your Facebook account, since that will be locked out at school. But you can sign up with Twitter, or you can sign up with a username and email address. It's completely your preference. I use my Twitter account just because it's really quick, and it just syncs you in and logs you in right away. And it's one less username and password that I have to remember. So once you create an account, you log in. It'll take you to My Stories here. This is where you can access all of the stories that you've created and edit or create new stories. So to create a new story, it's very simple. You just go right up here to the green button, New Story. You will give it a title right here. So we'll call it Practice Appy Hour. Here you can give it a description. So what's your story about? All right, so I'm going to skip this first option over here on the right is where you add all of your content. We're going to come back to this first one, the Storify area. First option, you do have to have a Twitter account and connect the Twitter account to use this option right here. It is pretty cool though, because this lets you sort through and choose what social media you want to pull in for your students to see. So you're able to pull out some of the great stuff that people are sharing out on social media, but you're not just sending kids out to Twitter to search and find everything on their own. This would be what you have already gone through and approved and decided was appropriate to include in your Storify. So for instance, here I can search like the keyword or hashtag. So this is how I found all of the tweets for West Clare Learns. I just type the hashtag right there and then hit search. And then they all show up here, and I can scroll to the bottom of these 50 and hit show more. Now I've got 100 results, and so on and so forth. Then, and this will be the same whether it's a tweet or it's any of these other options that you're going to add. So right here, you can drag and drop them over one by one. Or if you'll notice right here underneath the search, it says how many results there are, and then drag and drop the best ones or add them all. So if I say add them all, boom, now I've got all 100 tweets in there. So that's how easy it is to do. I can also narrow down my search by these extra search options right here. In particular, I want to point out location to you. So if you were going to talk about some sort of a current event or something that was going on, you could actually narrow down the location to that specific place where it was happening. So then it would only show you your search terms in that location. So really cool to kind of see current events, what's going on in a specific place, what are those people saying. With Twitter, you can also search by a specific user. You can search your favorited tweets. You can search your timeline and then any list that you had created. So those just all help you search down and narrow and find the content that you're looking for. You could pull in Instagram, although I do believe it's blocked on your network, but that option is here too, and you would just, it's the same thing as Twitter and individual tweets. Individual Instagram posts would show up and you could drag and drop them. Now here, this next one, this embed URL, it looks like our little hyperlink icon. That is where you're going to want to include posts to any website. So let's say that I wanted to include a link to this website right here. I would copy this URL. Then I would come back to Storify and choose my embed option. And I could search and find it that way. And that is how you add links to other websites right there. So next, Facebook, like I said, probably going to be blocked. You would also have to have a Facebook account and connect it here to be able to find things and add them. In theory, you can also add individual comments from Facebook, individual Facebook posts, just like you can for the tweets. Moving on, we can search for and find YouTube videos and embed and display our videos right in our story in one place. Taking this a step further, if some of you were to create a screencast, explaining a concept to your students, in particular, let's look at maybe math. If you took a screencast showing students how to solve an equation and then uploaded it to YouTube, you could then embed that YouTube video that you actually created, or you could find one that already existed, right into your story. And then you could include other links for resources for your students to work through the problems. There are other options up here. There is a Flickr option if you wanted to embed images. So what I found, they used to let you embed images right onto a Storify, but it's not looking like they do let you do that anymore. So if you had an image that you or your students created, during the Appy Hour, one of the teachers is having her students use PictoChart to create infographics, and she wanted to be able to display the infographics right in the Storify. So if you have some sort of image like that is going to be user created, you could upload it to flickr.com with a free account and then search and add that image directly into your story as well. You can search Google right here and then add anything that comes up, you can add it. SoundCloud is another website where you would need another free account, but it will let you create audio recordings. So if you or your students wanted to just record their voice, when they're finished, they'll do that on SoundCloud, and then SoundCloud will give them a URL to that audio recording. So here they could actually embed their audio recordings right into their Storify. And you have a few more quick options when you click the three dots that you can search and find. So that's how you find and add all of that content. It's as easy as that, as dragging and dropping or clicking that add everything option. Right there, add them all. So let's say, oops, I didn't really want this in here. I'm gonna, if you hover over, you'll see an X. You can just click that and it will disappear. Then, so what about how we added text? Let me show you the example. What about this text that I added right here? How do we do that? If you just click anywhere in your story or go up to insert text, then you can start typing your text. So I could put my instructions or description here. Now, what about like this access presenter resources or see what teachers were saying? What about that heading? If I want to add a header, I just click to add my text, and then I click the H, and that makes it a header font. Topic here. You can also click anywhere, and if you see next to the H, there's a little line. That would put a line in between your story. You can also doing that by going up to insert horizontal line. Now, what if I don't want these two lines right next to each other? Every single item that you add to a story, you can rearrange just by dragging and dropping, just like that. If I want to rearrange these tweets, I can do that. Oops, I still want my text up at the top. So I'll just drag and drop to move it. So that's how easy it is to add and create a Storify. Now when you're ready to publish, you'll just click this publish button. And then it will take you to your published Storify to share it with your students, or if your students created a story that they want to share with you or the class, all you have to do is share the URL to their published story. So those of you using Schoology could just paste that right into your Schoology course, or if your students created them, you could create a discussion board and then have your students paste a link to their Storify right into the discussion board. If you click template over here, this is the traditional story template where it goes all straight down. The grid option would change it. Mine's not gonna change too much because, let's see, let me save it. There we go. Oh. Let me mute it. So here's the grid view. Sorry, I thought my squares were too big, but there we go. So this is what a grid view would look like. If there were websites in here, they would appear as these little grids. And then you also have a slideshow option that you can do as well. And what that does is every item that you add essentially appears as its own slide. So I think that the story option is the easiest to go through and read, but I just want to point it out so that you know that those other options are there. Also, if you click notify, any tweet that you have pulled into your story, it will notify those people on Twitter in one click that you have used their tweet in your story. So that's just kind of a fun way to network and to continuously build your PLN, letting those people know that you've used their information in your story. You can always go back and edit. Here I am on my story. I can just click edit, and then I'll be able to add, change, rearrange, whatever I need to do. It will not change the URL, so that's fine. Also, if I go back to my stories up at the top, that's where I'll see all the stories I've created. And from here, I can also hover over and click edit from any one of these as well. Now, the last thing that I want to show you is the Storify extension. And this is that little piece that we skipped when we first looked at Storify and how to add content. Sorry, I just need to go back to Schoology here. So I have the link in our Storify area of Schoology, the Storify Chrome web store. This is how you will install it. You can also just Google Storify Chrome extension. Where mine is green and says added to Chrome, yours will be blue and say something like add now or install now. Once you've installed the Storify Chrome extension, it will appear right up here to the right of your Omnibox or your address bar. Now, what does this handy little extension do? So let's say that we were searching the internet and found this great article on Edutopia, and I really want my students to see this. But I'm not going to be ready to create my Storify on this topic that we're covering in class until next week. But I don't want to forget that this would be an awesome article to include. Well, the extension kind of acts like a little bookmarking tool, and it saves it for you. And all you have to do, whatever website you're on, if you click your Storify extension, it will let you add this element or this website to Storify. Same thing if I am searching social media. So let's say I'm on Twitter. And for those of you using TweetDeck, it will not let you do it from TweetDeck, I don't believe. You would have to do this from twitter.com. You can double check me on that, but I think you have to do it from twitter.com. But so let's say that this great tweet right here. All of these, when you install the extension in Chrome, automatically when you're on Twitter's website, you will see the little Storify option. So if I want to remember this, I can click that Storify icon and save this element. So now, when I am going to create my story next week, under this first option over on the right, here's the tweet that I just saved. Here's the article that I just saved. So I can keep everything filed away and then add them when I'm ready. So that is what the Chrome extension does. And again, you can find a link to that in our Schoology group under Storify Chrome Web Store. That will let you install it. And all you have to do is click the logo on a tweet or hit the extension when you're on a website, and it will automatically save it to you in the saved elements area. And I think that is really the meat and potatoes for Storify and everything that we covered in the Appy Hour when I forgot to originally make this recording. So if you need any additional help, you can always fill out this web form here, bit.ly/WC Instructional Tech Help, and I will be happy to work with you. My email is also Ritter, RITTER _K @my.westclair.com, and I will be happy to help you. Thanks so much for watching.